Bathurst in your neck of the woods. I believe you've got a few for us there that we might be able to multi up.
Yeah, I thought we'd try and concentrate in the main on the one card. A number of the races, especially the first 3 races I'm looking at, they almost shape up as match races, in particular the dogs in races 4 and 7. But the one in the last is a nice bit of value. We'll get to that in a moment. The first of them, race 2, number 8, a dog by the name of Mr. Cash, who, look, he wouldn't have the best winning strike rate. He's won 3 of 23, Mark, but his winning form recently has all been in very, very smart fashion. He's run 22.49 at Bulli, which is really ripping along. His last 2 runs at Richmond, he's been beaten in very quick time over the short course there. And I just think he'll get a really nice run at them from box 8 here. He hasn't seen the track, which would be a little reservation, but I think he's been racing in deeper company and I think he's well drawn. He's race 2, number 8, Mr. Cash. I think he can get us off on a winning note.
Good as 2.5 at the moment, so $2.50 there, fixed odds. And Bathurst is meeting code 30 into race number 2, set down for 6.17. Off to race 4, you're saying, for a match race?
Yeah, that's right. It looks a match race between Tornado Time, who's got box 1, and Still Blue, who's got box 6. I would give Dana Ali, who's got box 2, some sort of winning chance, but she holds the key to the race in many respects because she's very quick early, and I think she might make it a bit awkward for Tornado Time in the early stages. He's coming back from 500 to 450, so he might just lack a little bit of zip there early. And Dana Ali's a bitch we normally see over 300 metres, so she's at the opposite end of the spectrum, Mark. She's very quick away, and I'd say she's drawn to make it very awkward for him, and for that reason I like the 6, Still Blue, who should stay up the track a little bit and swish around them. This is a bitch who, if you go back to the 27th of January, she won the Orange Cup, and it was a pretty strong field as well. She beat Solar Sky there, who's Feral Frankie Goododds, Harada's little sister, and herself, Solar Sky's made a semi-final of $1 million chase. So she's been in some really good form, Still Blue, some placings behind some very fast dogs of late. I really liked her win at Wenty recently, and she's got a good record track and distance. So a couple of dogs that are drawn outside of her are sadly out of form and not great beginners either. So I just see her getting plenty of room here and just swishing up and around Dana Ali in the mid-stages, Mark, and I think she can put it to bed there and then. I think she could be too good for Tornado Time, who is the obvious danger, but as I said, just trickily drawn inside the checks.
So at the moment, Still Blues at 2.2 second favourite there. Tornado Time even money. So that's in race 4, and that's time to go at 7.03. Meeting code 30. Race number 7, next port of call.
Yeah, again, match race here between Gabby Keeping and Fernando Porsche. And normally in this scenario, I'd probably like to be with the leader, who is most likely to be Gabby Keeping. She's only had 9 starts. She's won 4 of them. She's coming through the grades quite nicely, Mark, and she should have the speed to hold up. I think she's really hard to beat. I just fancy that Fernando Porsche's a very good chance of beating her. I expected him to probably be a little bit better price than he is, so maybe wait. But you've got the manner of the clash here is you've got one going through the grades, and you've got a dog like Fernando Porsche who's already proven and been going around in good company. And he's actually coming back in class a bit. His last couple of runs at Wenny have been behind good dogs, Heavy Jet Power and Kenya Star. And prior to that, we're into the sort of races that we discussed with Still Blue. Fernando Porsche ran 6th in the final of the Bathurst Gold Cup behind Nengar Diva, having run 3rd to Shimmer Breeze in the heat. And he ran 3rd to Still Blue, who we tipped in the Orange Cup. So that really good Country Cup form should be the 4 here. I like box 8 for him. I freely admit that the other dog's drawn to lead, and that's going to make it a little bit trickier for Fernando Porsche. But if he was right behind her, I think he'd get over the top of her. He stays 600 metres and he's very strong. Getting him into that position, I understand, is going to be a little bit tricky. So I would want a little bit more compensation than we're currently getting. I think he's priced up on his ability, Mark, which is correct. But because of the draw speed map scenario, I think he's entitled to be a bit longer. So I've tipped him up on form only, not on price, essentially. If he doesn't get to the right price, and I would think that's nearer to $3, then I'd be inclined to probably let him go myself.
Okay. No, good advice. We've got until blink. 805 for race number 7.
And the camp that have Gabby keeping as well are a pretty strong betting camp. So if they decide to have a bet, you'll find Fernando Porsche will get out to a better price.
Okay, nice. Race number 9 to complete our Bathurst quartet.
Yeah, I really like one at a price here. I think this one might have snuck under the guard of price assessors. It's number 8, Drunken Ollie. What price you got there in New Zealand at the moment?
Right. Just heading back there, we've got $10 and $2.40.
Yeah, and I think that's a really nice price. I would have thought he was entitled to be more a $5, maybe $6 chance. So I think we've got a little bit of room to move with his price currently. Again, with him, he's been going around in free-for-all company in the main of late, and he comes back to a grade 5, albeit a very strong 4 and 5. 3 and 4, sorry, it is. He's pretty well drawn outside of 2 Opals, who looks one of the main leaders in the race. His form here at Bathurst over this track and distance is excellent. He's only ever won 5 races in his career, Mark, and they've all been over the 3:07 here. When he has been beaten here recently, it's been in really strong company. And, I know you're a 1x3 man. I think you could structure your bet that way and get a good result here with Drunken Ollie. 2 Opals is in great form. It's won 4 of its past it's won 4 on the spins, won 5 of its past 6, and certainly will take some beating, but I think the other dog's certainly priced up accordingly. And as I said, using whatever staking plan you feel necessary, I think you can get a result here.